So this week, South Carolina bucked the White House, refusing to rig its congressional map for Republicans, at least for now. Tomorrow, that's sure to be a major topic of conversation at one of the biggest political events of the year, Congressman James Clyburn's world-famous fish fry. This annual event, folks, draws White House contenders to the crucial early primary state, to get out there, shake a few hands, make a pitch to their voters, right? It's a good field day for everybody. So today, our colleague Eugene Daniels spoke to Congressman Clyburn, and Eugene joins us now from Columbia, South Carolina. He's the co-host of The Weekend, MS Now senior Washington correspondent, and co-host of the MS Now podcast, Clock It. He is the man who's got the plan and the conversation. Eugene, tell us about the conversation with Clyburn. It's quite a get, man, particularly given the news of the week.
Thank you. Yeah, it was quite wide-ranging. We talked about 2026 in his race. We talked about 2028, the fish fry, the Democrats and what they need to do to make sure they get his support come 2028. But we also talked about the redistricting and that failed redistricting plan. And most importantly, I wanted to know what the plan was to make sure this map doesn't come back. Listen to what he said.
I don't think you're going to stop the map from coming back, and I don't know that we should. I think we need to take the Supreme Court decision, make sure that we participate in this process. Look at all the tests that have been there over the years for redistricting and show why it is a 45% African-American district is much less egregious than a 75% white district. And that's what you've got here. And I think that if we show that the politics are one thing and the adverse racial stuff is another, we might be able to survive the test.
And you think Republicans are going to be on board with that?
I've talked to some who I know will be on board with that.
So that tells you he is going to be going back to his old job, kind of whipping folks into action here, talking to Republicans to see what they can do. But also what was really interesting talking to him and just being in South Carolina is black voters themselves are coming out in droves to show that they're going to be very upset if this map comes back. We'll keep watching. He was much more hopeful, I think, than a lot of people are. But the full interview will air later on this week. More coming.
All right, Eugene Daniels. Hey, I'm just wondering if any Republicans going to show up at that fish fry. That's what I want to know. You can catch more of Eugene's interviews not yet, right? Throughout the day tomorrow on MS Now, and also on his regular gig, The Weekend, airing Saturday and Sunday from 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern. I joke about Republicans, showing up at the fish fry. Y'all should show up at the fish fry. But clearly, I think
Tim Scott should be going to the fish fry. Right? Senator of South Carolina, right?
Exactly. So you would, but I love the point that, the congressman is going to do what he needs to do. He's going to go out and he's going to lobby. He's going to whip, members around this idea. And I think that's going to be interesting to play to see how it comes out for him.
I think it'll, go ahead, Alicia.
No, you said.
Yeah. Well, I think it's interesting, but in my conversations with state senators and state reps in South Carolina, they believe not only are their colleagues, their Republican colleagues, going to circle back on this particular map for the congressional seats, that they have also been on the record saying that they're going to also do this for the state legislative seats. And frankly, that's a play that's happening all across the country. So this year we're talking about the congressional seats, but it's state legislatures, America's policy is made there, but also they have a lot of sway over the bills and elections. I just think people are not really understanding how sinister this really is.
One of the number one things that stuck for me from the conversations we've had all this week was this idea of South Carolina was possible because Democrats stayed in the fight. And you have to stay in the fight in order to even have the possibility that things will break your way. And some of that fight we get to watch out in the open. Some of that fight is happening behind closed doors. And then there are things like this happening in Tennessee where a judge is refusing to block Trump's order to limit mail voting. There's no immediate effect on the midterms, but you have a Trump appointee late Wednesday. This was an appointee in Washington rejecting the request by Dems and civil rights groups, arguing that the order would likely be found unconstitutional. I mean, this is playing out, Simone, absolutely at every stage of government.